All right, all right, all right. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Rashawn Berry Shares Harmonic Love. Here to spread awareness, conscious awareness through what I call universal SEL, universal social and emotional learning, which is conscious awareness, conscious SEL. And so uh, I was supposed to get this episode out um, earlier this week, but got busy. Wasn't feeling the best, but I wanted to share this with you because this has been like on my mind for a long time. And the question I posed was, has my spirit guide guardian contacted me and I ignored it? And the reason why I said that because when this situation happened, which was in 2022, I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. And you know how you can go down a rabbit hole with all these different things. But as I continued my spiritual journey through reading, through resources, all old and ancient texts, different sacred texts, and different Bibles from the Christian Bible to the Muslim Bible to the Rig Veda, and from the Zoroastrian Bible or book, um, all those different things through different teachers, um, Hermes Trismegistus, the Corpus Hermeticum, Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and even people like Manly P. Hall, but not but Santos Bonacci, so there's so many. I can go on forever. As so many different individuals and different books that I've read from, but even, Buddhism and things like that. Just reading all these, and it's so many different, like it's so many different selections of writing that's so ancient and so old that we just wasn't made aware of. And how I stumbled across these books was uh, I found myself in a weird space in 2021 where I started to lose my passion for the career that I was in. I was in the education field. And, I just was I was in this weird space that I couldn't understand. Um, and I didn't know why. And it was causing me to just not be who I typically am. I felt like I was being put in a place to compromise my moral values and my ethical standards. Um, and I was at this school for a tremendous part of my career, and I invested myself and my all in the students and the families, but also trying to be the best to support my staff in a way that, they can be the best for the kids and be the best for the families. And excuse me, sorry. And I felt like, everybody was coming to me. There were a few people that were very strong individuals that would take stands and be vocal. But, when you're in these institutions where people don't like to be challenged, people don't want people to go against uh, the majority or whatever the system put in place, and it's going to ruffle feathers because you're questioning things, but there's so many things tied to different things that come in education, far as financial gains and financial benefits, uh grants and federal funding and things like that. And so it becomes that area, that arena has become so political where when you tie money to things, when things aren't best for kids, things, as you can see, because the data never lies and the data has shown, if you go from the 80s and to where we are now in 2025, the data shows that in Iowa, the city island, which was like when I was a kid, I think we were number three in the nation, far as if we talking about state tests and state exams and things like that. The actually the test that was given across the nation was called Iowa Test of Basic Skills. And we at one time we were number three, if I'm not mistaken, when I was a child, to now we've fallen down probably 20s, 30s, maybe, things like that. But so when the federal government gets involved with these things, there's funding. So you have to do things, you have to accept things, you have to pick certain curriculums and things like that. You have to uh, just implement new initiatives to get that money. And so, which that's another podcast from a different time because I'm going to talk about on a different podcast about how these institutions play a role in creating the achievement gaps because of the money that is tied to it. But I was, in that area. And I don't want to make this video long because I tend to sometimes, me and my cousin, so yeah, we did that interview was 3 hours and 40 something minutes, which I love that. And they're gonna be like that sometimes because we just chopping it up. That's all we doing. But during that time, when I was in that area, like people were coming to me and I was part of this leadership team, and the leadership team wasn't what I thought it was because people were doing things behind my back because people would come to me and I guess they felt threatened or something like that. Well, I know they felt threatened, which they had no reason to because every time people came to me, I went to the people are part in those leadership roles. That's part of my team, but were in the role above me because they were the leaders of that building. And it was just things that wasn't getting addressed, and it was stressing teachers out. It was many evenings after school, or many times, I had to hug teachers, hold their hands. Other teachers coming to me trying to support their teachers on a team, and but they just, I mean, everything fell on deaf ears, and they weren't being heard, and they felt like they weren't being supported. And so, what I know based through SEL, and that's why my biggest focus as went through my master's program, and my research was on adult SEL and how we cultivate teacher resilience, because if the teachers if the teachers don't feel supported, if the teachers continue to get things thrown on their plate, it breaks them down. I mean, in this field, like people think teachers have their summers off, but probably 95%, and I'm gonna go, and that may be a stretch, but I'm gonna go up to 95% of the teachers, they're working in the summer. Like they're taking on roles of teaching summer school, they're going to different trainings, they're going back to school to better themselves, to be more effective, to invest in themselves because they know that investment invests in their students. And so as we go through this process, and we rack up so much debt because we want to be better. And excuse my voice is a little hoarse. My throat is not the best. We want to be the best for our kids. You know, I have a BA in elementary education. I have a master's in school counseling. I have a pre-K 12 administration and special education supervision endorsement. and I have, which I got in 2023, second master's in social and emotional learning. And so, but that's not even all of the other trainings that we do, the professional learning, um, just the different workshops that we take, that our district do invest in us, but also we spend our own money because we want to be better. We want to perfect our craft so we can be better practitioners for our students. So, I just got to this space like I feel like I'm giving my all, and like people were just doing shady stuff behind my back. And and I've had conversations with these people like, whatever I know, I told people, whatever if I say it out loud, there's only two people that I'll tell my deepest darkest secrets to. Those are my best friends. But if I say it out loud, if I tell somebody else, I'll say it to the person. And so I would go to these individuals and question them, and they would like they'll apologize and do all this and say it won't happen again, and they'll do some even subtle microaggression stuff, subtle racist stuff, subtle prejudice stuff, and these people not only wasn't were supposed to be my colleagues, but also we supposed to have a personal friendship too outside of school and things like that. So, and so when you feel betrayed by people that you trust, that people who you go to try to, help to be better, because I'm not looking at myself as an individual or each teacher or each grade level, each lead or the lead teacher, the reading coach, the math coach, or the principal. I'm looking at it as we're in this together. All right. It's a collective capacity of supports for these students. And I'm here to give my all. So I'll question if I don't feel like it's best for kids, I'm gonna question what we're doing here, and I'm going to have a conversation, and if you can make it make sense to me, then I'll go along with it, but if you don't, I still have the right to voice my opinion and let people know how I feel about these things. And so, but it just kind of wore me down because there were some things happening that was unacceptable. Some illegal things, some it was just I won't even get into all that, but it was some things that should not have been happening. And when you continue to go and give your all and try to make change and try to fix these things, and these things continue to get ignored, even after you talk to people in positions that's in a higher administration level, and talk to them about different things, and they don't they ignore it, brush it under the rug, because it would, quote unquote, because this is the saying that they would always say, it makes us look bad. And I would always say, well, if we address the problem, we won't have to worry about how we look, you know. And so it just broke my spirit. I hate to use that word, but it did at that moment, because I was just like, okay, what am I what am I doing here? Why am I'm giving my all, I'm taking away from my family, I'm taking away from myself. And people aren't people aren't doing what's best for kids. People are ignoring things that are blatantly out of order, unethical, not addressing these things where things get out of hand, and then try to address it when it's like now it's crazy, it's chaotic, and so it was just, it really, really broke me down, and I was in this weird space. And so I ended up, you know, switching. I said, okay, I dedicated my life in elementary school. At some point, possibly, maybe I want to be in administration, an assistant principal, because I don't want to be the head. They got a lot on their plate, some do. Ones that do it for the right reasons and are in that position. Um, but I want to be a support because I think I have a lot of tools and a lot of strengths that I could bring to the table to support the leader of a building. And so, but I always was in elementary school and to be assistant, usually in Iowa, in the district I'm in, you need to be at the middle school level or the high school level. Have that experience because I've interviewed a couple of times, and that was the so-called reason why they always went another way. I can tell you it was other reasons because I know factual that there were other reasons. Um, just because a lot of times, um, a lot of places when it comes to these things, they do have unethical hiring practices too, because a lot of times they have people do this tap dance when they already got the person they gonna hire. You know, in some cases, they don't even post a job; they just put a person there. You know what I mean? So that's this dirty, dirty game. When in in uh when you're in a district that doesn't, is not holding themselves to the standard that they should, far as that they do their teachers or their paraeducators and things like that. You know what I mean? And when you go into those central offices, it's a different game. It's a whole different game, and it's played a different way and things like that. And so, I was just in this weird space and I didn't know what it was. So I switched schools, went to a middle school, and as I went, I just needed change. I was able to be with my daughter for a year. I was excited about that. She was an eighth grader. And then I got in this weird situation, but during this time, I was like, because I couldn't understand why I was feeling this way. So, excuse me, um, I had some carbonation, which I don't drink too much anymore. So, um, I couldn't understand why I was in this place. And so I started reading all these ancient texts and watching a lot of YouTube videos. I got rid of cable and just because I wanted to control what I see. I didn't want, it's so much violence. It's so much it's so much negativity on TV and stuff that that lowers our vibration, brings us down, or even puts stress on our brain. We become numb to it, so we don't know it. But it's so much with the wars, with the political disagreements, with zombie shows, with shooting, even if it's like historical war movies and things like that. Yes, it does like make you feel have pride, but we have to understand the reasoning behind that. The reason, and that's another podcast too. But it still brings you down. It sends out this energy, this low level vibrational energy, and it sends it out into the universe, into the world. And so, and people feed off of that. The illuminated ones who know about it and who are uh, running most of the things around in this world, that 1%. Uh, so as I was going through that, like I started reading all these things, and one thing when I started reading the Bible, and then I started reading uh Hindu scriptures and sacred texts, reading a lot about Buddha, reading a lot about Hermes and a lot about ancient Egypt and even Greek and things like that. All these texts, these philosophers, these stoic individuals, everything I read. And it's all through the Bible. They talked about meditation, and I would do it with my students when I was a school counselor. But we did it for 5 minutes. I really, we just practiced breathing, did some mindfulness techniques and things like that. But as I started reading it, I'm like, okay, these things have a deeper meaning and a deeper connection to our internal self. Because I felt lost. Like I was asking, I was praying, and I was asking, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Like I started looking for jobs, thinking about going back to school to be a chiropractor and a PT therapist or radiologic tech, EMT, just random things. And I spent all my time, all my dedication into this field, and I was like, just destroyed, like wanting to leave. Like I felt my one day I was driving home, again, and I said this, I think in my last podcast with my cousin Sawyer, like I was driving home and I just wanted to just keep on driving and going. I never had that fe- feeling before. I started seeing a therapist. I started taking medication, which I never taken medication in my life. Never gotten a vaccine besides the ones we had to get when we were kids. Never. Then I ended up getting a COVID, which that's another story too. We won't get into that right now. But I will say this: I feel like these institutions played a part on pressuring and pushing it too. But anyway, and as we know, as we can see, if you look at the news, all this stuff coming out about it now, about the vaccinations and things like that, but that's another story. Um, like, and so during this time, like, I get to the school and I challenged. I had a supervisor who was actually like a friend that I really knew, like I grew up with. I worked with this person as a teacher, and I grew up with it. And before I came over there, a colleague of mine, that person was leaving and told me, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, don't do it. And someone was like, no, that'd be different. Because my goal was, I was kind of already like at the point where I was defeated, but like, I'm just going to come in, do this. I get to be with my daughter. I'm going to just give my all to the kids. But it, the person that was the leader at the time was like just giving a lot of misinformation and saying the wrong things and question questioning me about things that person didn't know about, that I was right about. And so I just finally, it kept making threats to me, and I'm like, you're supposed to be not only like you, I get it if I'm like jacked up, but it was like weird threats, like, um, I might have to, she that person was claiming, kept throwing out the word insubordination, and I'm like, because one day I went to lunch and that person was calling me and stuff like that, texting me and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm on lunch, and they was like, well, I need to know where you are and all this stuff, and like, mind you, like I fill in for principals. I'm like not getting a lunch. My team don't even see me. They don't even like, they're worried about my health. They're like, bro, you don't even get to eat lunch. Like, we're worried about you. Like, they're giving me my teammates' kids. They're taking it personal and things like that. They're like, well, I'm upset because like they're giving you our kids. Like, I can do this. And I'm like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just do it because that's what I'm just here to help kids. So I'm working with all these different grade levels. I'm gone. I'm everywhere, running around here and there. It's just it was a lot on me, but that didn't bother me because, like I told them, my teammates was like, "You don't get a lunch," and like I would take like we got out at like 2:35 or something like that, and like I finally don't get a lunch and I have to run real quick at 2 to get a lunch and get back at 2:15. It's like after all the lunch shifts and all these things, like just running and running and running. But anyway, So I challenged that person. That person got upset and then just went in on me like retaliation style. And I'm like, this supposed to be my homie too, though. This supposed to be my homie too. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, anyway, so I just said, okay, I'm just gonna make sure I document everything I do. But like this, that person was upset at me, like literally upset. I seen it like my teammates would be like, bro, he's looking all over for you. It was times I'm in like we had lunch duty and at certain grades we had duties and sometimes I would be in there and I would just be sitting down talking to kids and next you know, I seen that person just searching for me and then texting me, where you at? Where you at? And I'm like, I'm right here. I saw you come in. I'm with the kids, you know. So I knew what was going on. So I was like, okay, let me just start to document my stuff. Um, so I can just keep track of myself. But during this time, when these things started happening, you know, in 2022, in February, January, February-ish, I can't remember quite. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. My cousin, who was like my sister, who I grew up with, was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer. All within a month. All of this happened within a month. And so I'm dealing with all this, but then I got the pressures of work, people trying to retaliate against me because I challenged the person. And it was just weird, you know, but I wasn't tripping. Like, I know I'm good at my job. I've been doing this, always had stellar reviews and evaluations. I'm not tripping about that. But that person was trying to find every little thing. And so during this time, which during that time, let me add this though, like it was quite a few teachers that has was going through who have went through breast cancer who have had family members who have went through that, and they were like amazing, like supporting, at you know checking in, even one of them had reached out to my wife, and they had a great relationship, which I am thankful for her 100% because she helped my wife through that process. Um, but anyway, during that time, that was all those things was happening. So I'm digging. So I get into this meditation because that's all that information right there. That's gonna be a lengthy, long video because I'm gonna get into that. And it depends how I feel. I might even name names because I got the receipts. So nobody can say that I'm slandering or things like that. I got the receipts on these things. For sure. And so, but that's another time. I don't think about it. I don't know. Maybe it's not even sometimes I might be like, it ain't even worth it. But you know, it depends the ebbs and flow of the tides. But anyway, so during this time, I get into meditation. I started to meditate for like 5 minutes, and then it started to be. And then I went up to 10 minutes, and then I got up to 30 minutes. But I found myself like meditating for like 1 to 2, sometimes 3 hours. And during these meditations, you know, I was having these amazing experiences, and so that's when I knew the power of meditation. And if it weren't for meditating, I don't know where I would be right now. I started like so some of these meditative states, I would see words, I would see shapes, I would see colors, I would see patterns. Sometimes part of my head, like my brain would vibrate. Sometimes my whole body would vibrate. Sometimes it's just different parts of my body would vibrate. Sometimes I felt like I was floating. One time after I finished meditating, my arms was raised up, like I felt my arms being raised up, you know. And so I realized the power in that meditation. All right. So let me backtrack about the picture again, you know, because that was those meditate that meditation, that power, that understanding. Um, that was during all this time. I was meditating, but I also was reading, I was researching, watching a lot of videos and things like that. So with my team, the second year, my team, so I was there for about a year and a half, and so that second year, um, I would come back and drive God bless my team. They were my favorite people. They freaking comedy. We would have so much fun and we would laugh so much. And they were amazing and true advocates for kids. Everybody in that counseling office were true advocates for kids. I mean, better than most teachers and principals that I know. Like these few individuals that I was blessed to work with truly were meant for the teaching field or the education field. They were truly meant to do what they do. They were gifted by the creator of all to do what they do because it just came natural. And they just did it so smooth and so well and just knew how to connect and to make kids feel like they have worth and make kids feel valued. So shout out to that counseling team. Y'all dope as heck. But so I would come in and be just quoting stuff or telling them stuff that I learned, sharing information, getting on one of my kids, WS. I would be getting on her nerves. She would say, "Oh, here come Barry with all his sacred stuff." And one of my teammates, she's married to a man from Native American descent, and so she understood, and her and I would have these great talks because she was his family has these beliefs and understand these spiritual things and things like that through, there's he's been taught stories from his ancestors that's been handed down or told from generation. And so I would come in and I would show them stuff. I would be talking about stuff. Well, one thing I would be talking about the Bible and I'll be talking about the Nephilim and the giants and things like that. Well, one night I was watching a documentary, and this documentary, and I'm going to share this screen to show the image. This is no Photoshop. Anybody who don't believe me could take this anywhere and because trust me, I'm still like, although I feel like I know what it is based on my learning, my journey, my spirituality, but I may be wrong. I'm still looking for guidance, and I want somebody or who knows something, please come to me and reach out to me and talk to me about this because it was a very, very weird thing that happened that night. And this was in August. And so basically it was a documentary on YouTube on giants. And I didn't know that there were giants in America. And they found all these bones in different parts of America. Illinois, I think some in Iowa and Missouri. And they were talking about these mounds in America. These mounds are burial sites, and some of them are they this is why one of the documentaries were saying that this is why like they're sacred sites and we can't touch some of these mounds. There's one called Serpent Mound, and can't remember. I think that's in Missouri or somewhere too, or it might be I can't remember where Serpent Mound is, but there are giants buried underneath them, and somebody know this, so that's why we can't touch these things. You know what I mean? Or they may have been removed, but they were burial sites for giants. So anyway, an image popped up of a giant, the skeletal remains of a giant, and the skeletal remains of a average man or woman, and but it was a man. Okay. And the man, the average man came up to this giant's waist. So I think the giant was 13 plus feet tall or something like that, but it came up to the giant's waist. And so I snapped a quick image, and you're going to see this image. All right, I'm going to show you this image. But when I snapped the image and kind of looked, because I want to make sure I got a good picture and stuff, I'm just chilling in my man cave in the basement. I got my TVs up. I got a few different TVs on the wall, and I snapped this image. And I'm like, okay, let me check this out. And then I look, and under the image, there's this figure. And the figure is an outline. You're going to see this. The figure is an outline of like of something. It looks like a being, like a a human being, but within inside of it, it was all these light, these areas, which reminded me of the chakras, because I've been through this spiritual journey. I've got into the chakras and sound healing and the energy centers within our bodies and stuff. So done a lot of reading on that. Um, and so it's kind of like in those areas, and it's on his side. And so anyway, I looked at the image, I was like, what's that? And I said, where was that at? So I rewinded the video, and when I rewind the video, it wasn't there on that YouTube video. It wasn't there underneath the giants. And I said, what? Okay, so now I'm kind of getting freaked out. Like, I'm like, okay, I turn on the light, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, and I rewind it again, and that image wasn't there. So then I turned off the light, and I took another picture, and the image wasn't there when I took the other picture. I was like, what the heck? So then I was like, okay, let me. I ended up downloading a X-ray vision a X-ray vision app from Apple iTunes or at the App Store, and I took another picture in different colors because I was like, okay, let me see if it show up if I take another picture in different colors, and the image never showed up again. The image never showed up again. Now, like I said, I've reached out, I've emailed different people, different psychics, different channelers, and these people, I didn't expect them to get in touch with me because these people are on TV, they're rich, they are speaking all over, and they probably get like hoaxed all the time, or if they kind of have to go through all these things that so many people say what it is or what they think this is or these made up things. They don't have time for all that, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna share my screen and show this image. And so but before I show it, what I do know is through all this research and all this reading and things like that, um, through my meditations, um, I believe, it is to my belief that an a spirit guide, a spirit guardian, an angelic being was trying to, because I was down at that time, but I was really like digging deep and having these amazing experiences. I was connected. I was connected with my inner self, and I was connected with 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 my higher self and the universe, because I was reading stuff about astrology and numerology and all these things too. I'm just trying to learn because there's so much that we haven't been told that's been hidden from us. And as I'm learning this stuff, I'm mind boggled. And a lot of times, sometimes I even go down a rabbit hole with this because there's so much that you can get lost. And so I got to kind of remind myself to bring myself back in so I can stay focused on what was what. But I'm going to share this with you. And I want you to see this image. And if anybody can tell me what they think, please leave in a comment, reach out to me. I'm gonna put my email in the description box. Reach out to me. If you know somebody who can help me with this, or even just share what they think and their thoughts, please reach out. And I took it's the same image. I just took a couple. I just copied it because so that's a close up. I zoomed in and cut it out. All right, now let me see if I got my TV because as you can see in the back here, right here, those are the legs of the giant. This is the YouTube video. Now let me pull up another image. Let me just try another image real quick. Here, go here, and I'll make it bigger. Oh, might be the same image. Uh, this not coming up. Okay, wait, hold on. I wonder. Okay, let me try it now. Okay, that's that one. Oops, sorry. Let me try. Let me go back here. I might have to send them separate. I'm going to actually try to airdrop them separately so I can just pull it up right away. Pull it up because I took the picture with my phone, but I sent them all out together. So this is the image I initially took of the TV to show my coworker right here. Let me see. Airdrop. Okay. So this is the initial image right here. All right. As you can see, I was taking a picture of these giants right here, and I wanted to show them the difference between the two, the average size human and the giant bones that they found in America. Now, right here, this little black area, that little black area is under my TV. And I think I got a picture of what my TV looked like that I'll airdrop and share with you because I got like a big TV and I got two TVs on the side. Hold up. I'm gonna have to pause for a second this recording because my battery about to die and I don't want it to die yet. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. I hope everything's still working right. So, so I have a big screen TV and then I have two smaller ones on the side. And so underneath that bigger one, I have a Samsung sound bar. And as you can see, this right here, which, and this is all I took of it. But as you can see, like there's a head, there's like the upper torso part of it. Then this is like in that solar plex region. But look how the light shines. It was like a cross. It was a it's a weird. Let me see if I got one that looked better when I zoom, but this is what I took at that moment. I'm gonna try to send another image of it real quick. No, I think that's the only one. Try to see this one there because this is a more close-up one. Okay. Oh shoot! Let me try to send it again. That's not hello. It's in the way of it. Where is that at? Where'd that go? Oh, right here. Make it bigger. Expand this out. Look, expand it out. Okay. So you see how that outline right there looks like legs, feet. What is this? Like, look at that. Look at this. Look how it makes like a cross. Look how that looks like the lung area or the chest area. Look at that. Look at this light. This is what, look at that. Look at the arms. It looks like a structure of bones right there. Like somebody, if anybody can tell me what this is, let me see if I got that image of my TV though. What my TV looks like. I can share that. Sorry, I got a lot of photos, but I want to find the image of myself. Okay, let's ignore my coziness of this, but I want you to see what my TV looked like and where it showed up at. Send this again. Up over here. I'm gonna reset. What that image? About image again. Here. Okay, there it go. Dang. Okay, open, open. Okay, so right here, if you look right here, make this bigger. This is my TV area. Try to make it bigger. There's my TV. That image showed up. This is my sound bar right here under my TV. That's what that image is over right there, over that sound bar. So the giants, those skeletal remains of those giants was up here, and then that image showed up right down here over this black little sound bar right there. Stop sharing. So here's the deal. This. Here's the deal. After a lot of reading, a lot of meditation and a lot of reading. One book helped me kind of gave me a lot of guidance. It's the best book. I'm going to tell you the name of the book and I'm going to tell you the author and I suggest everybody read it. And if you don't have time to read it, just listen to it. It's the most amazing book ever. It's called The Secret of Life by Walter Russell. And essentially, the book is saying that God is light and we are light because we came from God. And I don't know. I just know that right there, like it scared me for a long time. Like I was down my basement. Like I didn't turn off the light for a while because like watching TV, I would have like had the TV open because I'm like, what is this? Like, what is happening? What's going on? What is this image? But then after that, I started reading more and I'm like, okay. And just through my meditations and all the reading of these sacred texts, The Secret of Light was one of the books. And in the Nag Hammadi Library, uh, the book Pistis Sophia, which I'm gonna read a little bit about little bit of that, and I would encourage everybody to like it's long. You can read parts of it, you won't understand it at all at the beginning. Like I mean, you will certain parts, but you won't certain parts because it's a story of Jesus initiating the disciples, including his mother and including Mary, um, into the mysteries. All right, the mystery teachings. And so it tells this story. Pistis means faith, Sophia means wisdom. And it's this journey, it's this beautiful, beautiful story. And it's an allegory. It's a hidden meaning within that. And so as he's initiating them, Jesus initiating them, um, he's asking them questions. They have to make a connection with the mystery in the Bible. All right, so he'll give them the mystery, and they have to or he'll share with them the mystery, and they'll have to share which part of the Bible this is, or they'll share part of the Bible, and they'll have to try to understand the mystery and things like that. If they can show them, if if they can show him after he gives them the mystery, what part of the Bible is represented in that mystery or is being told in that mystery, which is a lot of it is in Psalms. Um, and I think that's what because Psalms is a weird word. It's spelled P-S, and I know y'all know, but I'm just gonna spell P-S-A-L-M-S. And as I go through this, because as I listen to it, as I read it, as I listen to it, as I read it, because you have to listen to it and read it over and over. And as you do, you'll get more enlightened, you'll gain more understanding, overstanding as you do this, as you hear it, as you read other scriptures and things like that, as you read your Bible. Okay, you will gain new understanding and new meaning of the Bible after hearing this. But I believe that Psalms, which is a weird word, P-S-A-L-M-S, because he's making this connection as Jesus is making this connection with Psalms as he's initiating the his disciples. And I believe that the PS in Psalms mean Pistis Sophia's alms, ALMS, giving alms. That's what I believe it means. I believe that's where that word came from. Pistis Sophia Ohms. Because if you hear Sophia, which is wisdom, which is represented in the feminine aspect, you will hear this amazing story of how these archons, these evil daemons, are trying to take her light power. It's amazing. But I'm gonna read a little bit of this, and I've already been on here long enough, talk too much. Please reach out and let me know if you can give me some guidance on what you think of the image. I believe that it was a spirit guy reaching out because during this process too, I have all these different dreams, and we know that, and you can, if you have an intellectual pastor, they should be able to tell you that when the prophets had visions, those visions came in meditation, those visions came in during dreams. When they talk to God, when in the Bible, in the King James Version of the Bible, when you hear them talking to God, that conversation was in a meditative state or in a dream. And if you need help and I can direct you to it, because I'm not gonna claim to be a pastor that just remembers the Bible and remembers different lines and things like that. But I can show you exactly as I search through it, or if you give me the line, I'll show you where like for instance, never mind. Anyway, that's another story. All right, so I'm just gonna read a little bit of this because this is what really, after I heard this, I'm like, okay, this is what this is. This is what that image is telling me. All right. And this is reading from Pistis of Sophia, which predates the Bible, way older than the Bible. They found these in caves, way older than the Bible. The Bible wasn't even thought of. Christianity wasn't even thought of. There was no such thing of Christianity. There was no such thing of Catholicism. There was no such thing of Islam. None of that didn't exist. This predates that. Okay. All right. It says, O light of lights, I have believed in thee. Save me from all these archons which pursue me and help me, lest they take away my light from me, like the lion faced power. For thy light and thy outpouring of light are not with me to save me. Rather, Adamus, remember that name, Adamus, Adamus. Rather, Adamus was angry with me, saying to me, it is thou who hast restrained my power in the chaos. Now, O light of lights, if I have done this, if I have restrained it, if I have done anything unjust to that power, if I have oppressed it as it has oppressed me, may all these archons which pursue me take away my light from me and leave me empty. And my and may the enemy Adamus pursue my power and seize it and take it away from my light from me and cast it into his dark power, which is in the chaos. And may he place my power in the chaos. Now, O light, seize me in thy anger and raise thy power against my enemies, which have risen against me at last. Save me quickly, according to what thou hast said. I will help thee. That's just a small portion of that amazing text, that amazing book. But during those initiation, you hear Jesus or Sophia, Jesus teaching his disciple about the struggle of that Sophia is going through with with these dark archons trying to take her, steal her light power, take her light power because she is of the light. And she's pleading to the Most High, she's pleading to the Creator of all, she's pleading to God, don't let them take my light power. Protect me from these evil beings, these dark forces. Protect me from my light power. Protect my vesture, which is my clothing, which is our skin. And so, what I learned through that in the secret of light and learned through these teachings is what they're saying is that we are light. Like we are light. The angels, they have us thinking that the angels are like human beings, and they could come in emanations as a human being, but they are the stars because the stars are angles, Angles, but we spell it Angels. And now in the book of Corpus Hermeticum, Asclepius, uh, when I think it's Asclepius having a discourse with King Amun, which in the Bible they talk about King that Amun is bad and Amun is evil, but this 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 teacher, this philosopher, this one who has been a great person of wisdom, who all the Romans read the books of, who people praise, they call him thrice the great. Um, uh, his knowledge is all through Roman. This is the foundation of the philosophy that's been taught in Romans for thousands of years, which came from Egyptian. They're telling us that Ammon is bad in the Bible, but he's this person who the Catholic churches know, Christians know. If you know this history, you know who that person is. His wisdom is all throughout the world. Um, it's a foundation in a lot of different of our philosophy and our teachings and our literature. Who we he was deified as a god, is talking and teaching Aman. And in that teaching, in that book, and I think it's chapter 16, he tells them that the daemons, which we call demons, and that's what they want us to think, there's no such there. The demons are is really daemons. We somebody, some lesser light being called them demons and have manipulated the literature to scare us, but it's really daemons, Daemons. And the daemons are the stars. He tells us these are the stars. These are the angels. These are the stars. All right. And what do we know? If you take the star, if you take a constellation of a star, it's going to, and you connect the dots like we do if we look at Canis Major, Canis Minor, or Orion, or Cassiopeia, or these are triangles, squares. These are the angles, the angles. That's what that is. And but in that, what he was saying is that, you know, we basically, and especially in the Emerald Tablets of Thoughts, he said we are all light. We are all a star. Man and women are all stars. And it is to my belief that there's a lesser light force that knows this and has been trying to hide this. And I think the chaos is happening in the world, um, because we're in the age of Aquarius, and we're moving and shifting to another dimension, and consciousness is being raised. And so when consciousness is being raised, somebody is trying to create chaos. And so they flood you with all this nonsense on TV to keep us distracted, to bring out this low level emotion, this low level vibration out there, this low level energy, because the lesser light forces feed off that energy and that gives them the power to control us. But we're starting to come to this age, and that's why you're seeing all these different wars, and people are coming together, and there's a lot of information. The truth is coming out. Like Cat Williams said, 24, all lies will be exposed, basically. You know what I mean? But anyway, excuse me. But all I wanted to show y'all that because I truly believe that, a spirit guide, because I meditate and I ask, and I was in this bad state, and I was asking to be saved, to tell me purpose, help me figure out who I am. Why am I here? Like, what are we here? Why am I in this place? Why is there so much badness? Why is there so much negativity pushed up on us? Why? And through that process, this popped up, and I still didn't know what it was, but through my readings, I am to the belief that it was my spirit guide telling me that you're a light. You don't ever die. When you die, that's you you begin to live. You begin to live. Because spirits can't die. Forget all that nonsense about these are fictional stories to put in our head about the man with red horns and things like that. That's fictional stuff. That was, I think Pope Clementine has something to do with that. I got that information that I'm gonna do a podcast on. It came from in the purgatory and hell. That came from Dante's Inferno, which is really the real name is called the Divine Comedy, because he probably understood these esoteric teachings and wanted people to know that, okay, I'm gonna give you this story, but it's a joke. It's not real. The struggle of good and evil is within ourselves. We're our own as Satan is adversary. That's all that means. That's all that means is the adversary. And that's the adversary within ourselves. Forgetting that we're light. The adversary is keeping us attracted and desiring this matter, this temple, this house, which is all words in the Bible, this house, this vestiture, this skin, and we're forgetting who we are. I am believe when we die and I believe that eternal life for us is us becoming a star, and the many mansions, to me, from what I've been reading and from my understanding, and I may change and I could be wrong, but this is my understanding, is that the many mansions are the many galaxies, and we will be placed as a star in the sky in eternal. That's the eternal life. That's the immortality. That's the living forever with the Most High, and we will be in the Most High kingdom. And a lot of that stuff is in the Bible. You just got to know where to look. And if you need some help for me to show you, reach out to me, because I can show you different things and show you these meanings that has these these things were just said to help simple-minded man and woman understand this, because the truth is too powerful and too hard for us to grasp at that time. But now we're coming in a time of consciousness, and as you can see, if you go to YouTube, start researching this, you'll see a lot of videos and people making videos of these things because people are gaining a new understanding. And this newer generation of people are the people of the future, and are the individuals that's going to really be the ones to deal with a lot, but to be the force of change with the greater light, which is the light of the good. All right. So anyway, so I'll end with that. So what last thing I want to say is, Um, you know, we have to show each other grace, and we have to show each other compassion. We have to remove the hate. I think the first thing, we have to control what we watch on TV. And we have to look within ourselves. We have to look within ourselves. And, because God is communicating with us all the time. And that's those good thoughts. That's those thoughts when we do something and we question if it's right or wrong. This is the communication of the Most High. He's communicating with us directly. We have a direct, we don't need, if people want to go to church, good for you, but you have to do the reading yourself, because I find for myself, even when I listen to videos on YouTube and listen to these great talks or listen to these audiobooks, I might gain a little understanding, but I gain more understanding because I'm using multiple different parts of my brain to process this information, when I read it for myself. And then I can sit back and contemplate and meditate on it. And that's what you have to do. That's why Jesus taught by the rivers and the lakes and caves, and to the average people, and went in and destroyed the temple, because you don't need somebody telling you or teaching you or saying that you have to go through them or go through him, Jesus, to have direct. He said you have a direct line through. That was lesser light beings manipulating the text. If you read the book of John, it's in there. Read your New Testament. He tells you the heaven is within you. You don't need. Read some of the older texts prior to. Read the Greek text. Read what he says. You have a direct line to the Most High. But you have to look within, and you have to take time for yourself. You have to meditate. You have to consummate with the creator of all. And you have to love. You have to love one another. You have to love people that you don't want to love, but you have to love them. You don't got to mess with them every day, but you still have to love them. And you have to, and your actions have to be based on love. Because whatever I do to, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm still learning, because we've been like, this is generations of programming, of been told false information about who we are and about ourselves, the truth, and it's out there and they know it. And that 1% who have the power, they know it and they use it, and they throw it in your face with the signs that they do on TV. They throw it in your face on the TV ads. They throw it in your face on the cars, their logos. It's there. It's right there. They're using these mystery teachings to have power and control. And it's right there in front of us. You just have to look for it. And the bottom line is this: Jesus said, and he said this many times in the scriptures, those who have ears, let them hear. A lot of us don't, but it's right there. Once when you open your eyes, it's gonna come flooding to you, and you're gonna see it. You're gonna be enlightened, and you're gonna go down a rabbit hole, and you're gonna start thinking, "Are you insane?" And then you might even start to feel lonely, because you start to. Jesus, when he was going through his initiation, 40 days, 40 nights in the desert. That was the third stage of his initiation. All right. Buddha, 3 days, Jesus. He left all his money and lived in a cave by himself, because solitude is so powerful. And once when we start to look within ourselves and be by ourselves, you'll see the world differently. Like when I go out, sometimes I can't even go out. Like I spend most of my time inside because it's hard for me to go out because I see something different than other people. And it's scary it's sad and it's scary to me and it's hurtful and it's painful. Um, but I don't judge because I make mistakes. I'm not perfect and I'm gonna continue to make mistakes. It's not for me to judge anybody, but it is for me to just share my story, share my journey, share the information, help other people find the information and go on a journey themselves. But so that image, for me, that was my guardian angel because I've I've prayed, I've meditated wholeheartedly with love for signs for to guide me, to take my hand, to guide me in the right direction, to guide me in the direction of truth, love, and according to God's laws and ordinances. And I'm still learning, and I might regress again because I go down rabbit holes. I'm just gonna be. It's so much stuff that it gets difficult to decipher what's right and what's wrong, what's real, what's not, what's being manipulated. Is it the good demons or the bad demons that's trying to guide you somewhere? Because they're out there. That negative force is out there. That lesser light is out there. But we have to remember that we're a part of the great light. And once when we understand that we're all a part of that great light, the greater light, if you love and have a heart and believe in whatever spirituality or religion that you believe in, and if you approach it as you're a part of the great light, then you'll remove all the divisive things, the skin, even the gender stuff. That's all those things, this transgender stuff, this, and I get certain parts of it I do understand, but if we're investing too much of our energy into it, we're investing, and that's what the lesser light beings, the lesser light force want us to do because they're feeding off that aggression and that anger. Soon as we not invest on the most important part, that great light, that love and spirituality, that stuff will go away. That stuff will go away and work itself out because now we're sending out positive, high level energy out into the world that resonates and that can change the restructure of the earth. That can change if we all meditate, we can change weather. Just we can change the weather if everybody on the earth or the majority of the people, let's just say 90% or 80% of the people on earth pick the time, meditated for an hour, meditated with the same focus with love, we can change so much because that will shoot a crazy, amazing, high level vibration through the cosmos, through the heavens. And here's the deal. If you want whoever you say is the creator, whether you say Jesus, whether you say Muhammad, whether you say Allah, whoever you say is your creator, if you want, let let's try it. Let's try it. Watch how the world will change in a matter of a day. Watch how things would change if we all had the same focus on love with love. We can change the world in one day because that will be a high frequency that will shoot out into this universe. And trust me, We probably gonna see some amazing things. We might see some amazing individuals. We might feel and see an amazing force that shoots across this earth and change shift the whole paradigm of what earth should look like. And it'll do it in a positive way. But anyway, that's just that's my old fantasy. But please reach out. I hope people watch this video. I hope people put comments in the box, put below. Share it with me what you think. If you know somebody, psychic, a channeler, some type of spiritual reader, somebody who's out here in this world who have experienced this before, please reach out. Because, like I said, although I feel like this is what it is for me, this is what I think it is, I still want to know what exactly it is. I still don't know. Like, I think I do, but I would love to hear from other people that can tell me what that image is. All right. Thank you for, and last but not least, hey, harmonic love dedicated to universal SEL, which is conscious awareness, which is trying to raise the vibrations of everybody. Some things might be a little bit harsh, might be a little bit difficult to hear, might be challenging to others' beliefs or faiths or questions, but that's what we're here for. That's what conscious awareness is. It's trying to raise the vibration and open our consciousness to expand, to understand that we're more than the physical plane, we're more than our physical self. We are light, we are spirit, we are astral. All right. And so please because there will be more videos. I got a lot of stuff that I want to share, that I want to have discourse about, that I want people to challenge me in a way with love. Because everybody entitled to their beliefs. I truly believe that. Um, and just learn with you all. So check, subscribe, and share because that helps support the channel. Um, please, if you can give me any type of insight on that image, please do. All right. Thank you. Peace and love.